Good morning, everybody. I hope all of you are doing really well. I'm exceptionally excited this morning, not only to just be live streaming again and, doing my best that I can, but also to bring on a special guest. Many of you know that I work with Connect All at the Jacobs Center, and we've taken an opportunity to really learn a lot about the different businesses and companies that are in the cohort. Of that, what I thought was really great is that as I've been getting to know these business owners, I really realized how relevant so many of their businesses are for us, those of us that have children and those of us that are parents, right? It's spring break for most of us has just passed, and before we know it, we're going to blink and it's going to be June, and we're going to go, oh my goodness, what activities do we have our children enrolled with? And so what I think will be different this year is that, different types of camps and enrichment activities will be kind of in person. Some things will be modified, but I'm going to bring a colleague on, and her name is Ritika, and she is from Challenge Island, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about what goes on. But more importantly, if you are a parent and you see this today and you're like, yes, I want to know more, go ahead and comment on the live stream today, and we'll make sure to reach out to you. So, good morning, Ritika. How are you? Good morning.
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much, Marissa. I'm so glad that we got a chance to talk again.
Oh, absolutely. And I always get very excited to showcase things that are happening. Now, really quickly, as I mentioned before, if you want to introduce yourself to everybody, I'm actually going to share the screen of the Challenge Island website so that people can get an idea of what we're talking about and see it in real time. So go ahead and introduce yourself and a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure. Thank you. So as you already mentioned, I'm the franchise owner and executive director for Challenge Island San Diego Coastal. And what we do is we introduce love for learning in an imaginative world for our kids. We want them to start learning things through play so that it is a lot more exciting, and we take away the intimidation. And I have been doing, I've been running this program for about 2 years now. I'm really excited to bring it to our San Diego community here.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And I think for so many parents, even just the past year, trying to navigate activities for your children, we're so often challenged with wanting to provide. And again, for those of you tuning in on LinkedIn, I see you. We've gone ahead and we're going to go ahead and put the URL here so that you can see it. Looks like, we've got someone that definitely loves learning. That's Melody Johnson coming into us. Nice to see you, Melody. I've gone ahead and dropped the URL here for those of you that would like to continue on as Ritika and I chat a little bit more about Challenge Island. But, one of the things that struck me about what Challenge Island San Diego Coastal is doing is that it's not 100% just sticking kids in front of an iPad or ignoring the kids. It's really focused on kind of an approach to a different type of learning. So tell me, Ritika, what do you think in kind of your model and what you guys do differently? I think you touched on a little bit, play-based learning, right? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So, especially during the early years, right? All of us enjoy play. I mean, we all love playing, even as adults. So, what we found through research is that if you're enjoying things, of course, it has a better tendency of sticking, and you absorb it better. So, with the play-based learning, it is, the kids are not necessarily feeling they're in an academic traditional setting. They're learning, but they're doing it through organic exploration and through play. So it's all fun. We kind of keep it like mini challenges. So it's almost like a survivor or an escape room kind of a feeling for them. So they're all excited, but they're, through doing those challenges, they're learning all these concepts. And oftentimes they may not know the terminology, but they get the concepts. And that we feel sticks a lot better. And they are able to retain that a lot better and just have fun while doing it.
I think that one of the biggest things that I'm noticing and the trends that I've seen kind of in all the parenting, like any good parent, I try to do what I can, and then I read every parenting blog ever that tells me I'm definitely not doing enough. But tell me a little bit more about some of the work that you do with kind of like the social and emotional skills, because I think you're handling kids up to 12. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do go. We have team events that keep us engaged all through our actually adults and seniors too. But primarily, our focus is on early learners, elementary age group. And to your point around social emotional, so we take a very holistic and a whole child approach to learning. So in addition to doing the play based, we are I come from a corporate background, so I have a lot of experience working in teams, and you never work in a silo. And kids, when they're, especially when they're on screen, even if they're interacting, it's a very limited interaction. So through our program, what we try to do is we try to have them work as subgroups or teams. We call them tribes or cohorts. And so the way they do it is they're kind of working just like they would when, in a corporate environment, or even as entrepreneurs as they grow. So they get to learn those social skills of how do you communicate, how do you collaborate, how do you even delegate, within a team. Not everybody can do the same things most effectively. How do you take advantage of just finding the right skill set? And then of course they get to share. And so there's that learning, they're learning public speaking. We're trying to incorporate all of that in a way that it is just natural to them. And that makes it a lot more comfortable. And because it's so blended, it doesn't feel like they're doing, something very rigorous or intense. It just kind of feels like a high energy party.
So here's a question for you. You touched lightly on this, and I want to highlight obviously a little bit more about your background, because you were definitely in a primary industry before you moved over to this one. And I think it's a really interesting gap and a jump for entrepreneurs that are out there that may be working right in one area and jumped, right? So for me, right, I was working in operations, and then when I went off on my own, I really focused more on marketing, which was a little bit of a departure from my core kind of learning. So tell me a little bit more. Let's touch a little bit more on your background, Ritika, because I think it's really fascinating when someone chooses to either switch careers or jump forward. Tell me a little bit more about kind of your past and experience in corporate.
Sure. Yeah, I'm actually always excited about that. So as you mentioned, I spent bulk of my career as a software engineering manager and a medtech, a very high intensity medtech company here in San Diego, and I just loved my job. We were doing really great things, and I had this feeling of satisfaction. But I mean, at some point, I was starting to get burnt out, and it was the corporate America part of it was just not working for me as well. And then when I had my son, and I used to look for opportunities, just like you said, like most parents looking for opportunities for enrichment for him, I just, I got a little disappointed that a lot of the options were either, a lot of it was screen-based or technology and digital media, which was fine. I mean, from a software perspective, I mean, I'd worked in computer engineering all my life, so it wasn't something I was divorced from or was disgusted about, but I just felt like they needed at that age to be a little bit more hands-on, learn through just exploring for themselves. So I decided to kind of, look at more opportunities for them. And so essentially my son, who's now 6, was my inspiration to go find a program that would be just a culmination of all the things that I'd like for them to have a childhood. I don't want him to be on YouTube or playing screen games all the time. I mean, those have their values. I'm not saying they don't. I use them too, especially in the last year. It has been a big part of our lives, all of us. But in general, I think that the kids need to kind of take a step back from screen and just, just focus on being together and learning to work together and in a much more organic way. So, that's what I kind of, a couple of years ago, that's what I did. I just switched careers. I decided to bring this program. It's a franchise. It's nationwide, but I, of course, wanted to bring it to San Diego. With everything that I learned about it, it was the right thing.
Well, and I think that the statistics are really clear that entrepreneurs who have actually worked in a corporate environment, right, there's a success rate that comes with that because you understand how a business and those dynamics work. And we looks like Melody. Melody happens to be, I believe, in the educational kind of space as well. So she's in here. Definitely everything you're saying is really resonating with her. I want to say hi to those of you that are watching on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Thanks so much. So let's talk a little bit more about kind of beyond more of a classroom approach, right? Because I think a lot of times people see STEAM camps and they think, well, I want my kids to have fun this summer, But one of the things that I think is really, really interesting is that you're kind of moving beyond just doing this as a standalone activity, right? You could do activities for a family. You could do activities for a team, right? So as people start to, there's so many distributed teams in the past year that are all meeting each other for the first time, right? One of my colleagues yesterday started a role, and it was the first time that she went into the office and they did like a group lunch, and they did it they were like, oh, we should have done a team building activity. So tell me a little bit more about that, because I think that could be a really interesting thing too, right? As we've seen patterns of behavior, especially watching things on TikTok or Instagram Reels. There's a lot of families that are spending home together, even kids that went away to college that had to come back. So tell me more about those types of activities and what you could offer for families or even a corporate team building side.
For sure. So as you said, fortunately, this past year has given us an opportunity to kind of reconnect with family, because all of us were in this huge rush to, do whatever we were doing. And so we took a pause, which was really great. But even outside of that, I think this is, we have all realized that engaging in bonding with people we work with or we interact with is so critical. So what we do is we kind of take the same programs that we run for our kids. All of our programs have a STEAM background, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. But we kind of just take away the STEAM portion of it, which is they're not really getting the concepts. Hopefully they already know the concept, but we are still keeping that focus on the social skills, the 21st century soft skills that is so important and critical for our groups or teams to work together. So be it your families, where we're doing mom and me classes, or we're doing, during COVID, for instance, we did like multi-generational family events where, grandparents were connecting with the kids because they weren't able to see them. So they were just kind of doing this as an activity. So the idea is really to translate those same challenges. And we kind of call it, are you smarter than a fifth grader meets an escape room kind of thing. And, basically they're solving those same challenges, learning the same or refreshing those same skills that we would have typically seen, but in a team building kind of an environment. So we are elevating the happy hours that folks have been having recently, especially for the distributed teams. And we think that's really critical these days, now that everyone's remote and the interactions are more often than not via Zoom. So having a way to kind of informally connect with each other and also learn each other's styles, how does one communicate? Because when we do it in a play and the barriers are a little bit lower, but you're not feeling like, okay, am I being judged? So it's a different sort of setting, and that helps with building that rapport a little bit better. You get to connect. So it's really just helping that. And we've also found that to be very effective for counselors or teachers, especially now for the teachers who are kind of doing this remote instructions. They're learning, what's the best way to deliver the message over the online platform. So there's a lot of fun activities that we can run for adults, all the way from middle school through actually active seniors. So we're also interested in working with active seniors who are looking now. They've been isolated, so if they're looking for group activities, we are also offering that.
1 second. Sorry, my cut out there. So tell me a little bit more as we start to look at kind of going towards this summer period, because I know I made the mistake, I want to say a couple of years ago, of waiting until Memorial Day, I'll look at this and I'll book it. And I was amazed to see everything was gone, right? There was nothing available. So tell me, I think you've definitely got some summer things happening with local community partners, and you're looking at doing some, potentially these kind of, we call them social bubbles, right? These exclusive camps that are available for maybe a tight-knit group. Tell me more about these opportunities that are going to be coming up this summer. And again, really quickly, for those of you that are watching, if you're seeing this stream and you go, this sounds really interesting, I want more info, go ahead and comment yes in the comments, and I'll make sure that Ritika gets back to you. I know that as kind of things go algorithmically through the day, people end up watching this a lot in replay, and they go, how do I get a hold of this person? So it's really simple. I put banners, there's a scroll right down below with Ritika's email on it. You can reach out to anybody in that spectrum. And then keep in mind as well, guys, when you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put this website there for you as well. So that's the website for Ritika's franchise. Make sure that you're looking at San Diego Coastal. That will be the one that you want to do. But tell us more about the social bubbles, Ritika.
So yeah, absolutely. Summer camps are a big topic for discussion with a lot of parents, especially on Facebook. Almost every day I see parents asking, what are we doing for summer? And especially after this past year of not really having a lot of options and isolation, I think this is a really good opportunity. But for that very reason, they're selling out fast because a lot of parents are looking to get back. As you mentioned, I'm working with a bunch of places. There's some local venues that I'm working with. It's in Miramar, Forest Ranch, also working with some community centers at Rancho Santa Fe. So hopefully you'll be able to find a location that works for you. But another thing that's been really popular this year is a lot of families have still not necessarily embraced going out in public, or in a public setting. They'd rather be in a more safe, controlled setting. So what we call social bubble exclusive camps or pods are essentially the pods that were created during the online learning period have kind of continued, and they're wanting to. They find that to be a lot more comfortable. They are flexible with how those families can work better together. So it's a little bit more controlled.
We had our quarantine kind of bubble families, and actually one of those family members is here. I think it's good morning, Nick. Nice to see you. So he said yes, he definitely wants information, but we kind of have a little pod of families and children. So this could be a really great tool for us because we could organize all of our kids together in one camp for them, have them fully be engaged in an activity, they're taken care of while we're obviously all still working remotely from home. We're all, most of us forget, right? We're still kind of on Zoom all day, for those of us that are on calls. So I think this is a really, really great opportunity for any parents. Really quickly, if we are going through this process, again, they can certainly go to the website. I put your contact information here. I took, of course, because this is who I am, I took the liberty of going and checking out, what parents have said about your programs. And it seems to me, right, it is this combination of work and play, right? Like where people get an opportunity to learn skills, parents are really happy with the impact, but I want other people to see what other people have stated about the company, because I think that's
you're amazing, Marissa. You continue to amaze me.
I mean, I think that anytime that we're looking for great activities, I think this is where it's going to come out. So really quickly, I like to embarrass people with the positive things that people have said about them. And the best way to do that is not to talk about it, but to show everybody. So really quickly, I want you to again, if you're a parent and you're like, hey, I want. Let's look at this, exciting, look at this. They did a spring camp. Look at these kids. They're having a great time. And I want the key thing, the workshops were interactive, hands-on, and innovative. Kids had fun, enjoyed through games and play. And we as adults enjoyed this collaboration. So I think that's a really big deal. And all of the 7-year-old attended sessions, were super excited, super engaged. So I think anytime as a parent you're seeing your children like go to something, they probably all dread it because they don't want to meet people. Maybe they don't know people that are going to be there, and they leave and the parents have an impact. I think it's really important to share these things because I think so many times we're trying to figure it out. And I'd like to also mention as well that 9 months ago, during the height of COVID, right, she was able to pivot and help serve the community and these families. And I just want to take a moment as a new franchise owner, right? I think that is, it's a challenge anyway when you are team everything. You are sales, you are customer support, you are marketing. But I really want to commend you on how you were able to help and serve families, not only during the pandemic, but upcoming in this current summer. Because I know for working parents like me, we depend on services like this for our families, because otherwise we can't do our job, right? And I want to commend you for that.
Thank you so much. And that's having a parent's perspective is, like I mentioned, I have a 6-year-old, so yes, he's high energy. He needs to be entertained all the time. So having something that can be engaging I mean, there's only so much videos or video games that you can watch. So, yeah, and you want them to be away from screen. So, of course, last year we had a little bit of screen option. We continue to actually have a few of those for Girl Scouts since our councils haven't opened up here. And we're doing some STEAM events. Actually, this month is a STEAM month. There's a lot of festivals that are going on. So there's great opportunities for San Diego's community to take advantage of a lot of free events that are being put out by Remake Learning Days as well as San Diego community here. But where I was going with this is that even when we do these online sessions, we are not having them look at the screen all the time. They're in fact just very little instruction and guidance. And then they're in their imaginative world doing their own creations. They're working hands-on. So unlike a lot of other pre-recorded sessions where they're just kind of constantly watching, this is a lot more hands-on and engaging. So they're engaging with others. They're sharing. So they're continuing. We're trying to build that, being able to communicate and get that leadership quality of public speaking. But they're not fully just watching the screen and following a step by step. They're letting their minds do the work.
I think that's a component. I think that's why kids are so drawn to, certain types of games, right? Like the Minecraft and the Roblox. It's because they're actually creating something, right? I think a lot of parents see that and go, oh, they're playing that game. But, if you actually take a moment to sit with your child and see what they've built, they're learning spatial ability, they're learning CAD design, they're learning other things. So just to kind of bring this full circle, I know for those of you watching on LinkedIn, I've seen you comment, I want to say thank you so much. I do want to let you know, right, if you are a HR director, if you are working with another group of parents in a neighborhood, if you are trying to figure out ways to keep more employees engaged in work and know that they are parents, Ritika is very open to discuss partnerships with you, group rates, opportunities for you to provide this support to parents. We all know that as working parents, this is such a great option to have, especially in the summer, right? Just to know that your children are engaged in really great activities. So with that, again, the website is right below me. It is challenge-island.com/San Diego Coastal. San Diego Coastal at challenge/island.com is how you can get in contact with Ritika, or simply come back, as I've seen a couple of you do, and do yes on the live stream. She'll reach out to you one-on-one and have those conversations so that you guys can discuss getting your kids enrolled. Ritika, do you have any final words for everybody?
No, I'm just excited for our kids to be back. I'm so glad that they were finally opening up, and San Diego's, the weather here is perfect. So why not get out and take advantage of where we live? I hope to see a lot of us doing fun things this summer. We need to reclaim our summer back.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to say goodbye today. Thank you for joining us this morning. For those of you that are watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, I super appreciate it. Everyone have a great day.